Hey guys, big news. We're releasing Sticker Pack 2.0 to the general public just in time for the holiday season. Go to AITApod.com, put your address in there, and we will send you the brand new vinyl stickers. They're waterproof. They're funny. One says Yikes-a-roni. The podcast logo, all the stickers you know and love. Just put your address in or your friend's address, anybody's address that you want. AITApod.com. Happy holidays, folks. I'm excited for it. We're giving out the stickies, baby. Let's go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA Pod. I'm Danny Vega, joined today by my wonderful, wondrous interim producer, Lily Christie. Lily, how are you today?
I'm doing good. What about you?
I've been plugging Honeycrisp apples a lot.
Yeah.
And
They should sponsor the pod.
I think so. I mean, I've got a lot of words for these apple farmers. So I went over to my local Christian Whole Foods. It's called Lassen's. And they got over 12 different kinds of apples. And Lily, what do you think of this? What if I throw a party and the premise is I got all these kinds of apples and we're gonna try all the apples? Would you go?
Yeah, absolutely.
A little apple party.
You like singularly themed parties. Like you had a waffle party.
Wafflepalooza. Get it right. And it was there was
good. Wafflepalooza.
Yeah.
There's Applegate. I'm just kidding.
Applegate? That's interesting.
That's a brand. Isn't that a brand
Yeah,
of
it's like
meat
a
or something?
shitty sausage brand, yeah.
Sponsor the pod. No, but
Sponsor today. We fucking hate them. Applegate.
It's the worst sausage.
Shitty sausage. Ugh. If you want to have breakfast and feel sick, Applegate sausage is the sausage for you. It's made with 100% genetically modified pigs.
Except for the casing, that's human.
That's actual persons that use persons. Victims, all exclusively victims. They don't even source perpetrator meat. Applegate sausage.
No, but I'd go to your apple party.
Yeah.
I would. That's
Yeah.
fun. You just can't pre-slice them because they'll all turn brown. So you would have
Oh,
to.
that's interesting. Is that true? How long do you have before an apple turns brown?
If you leave one out for 10 minutes, it starts to turn a little bit.
Fast? Because I bite
Like the
directly
sugars?
into the apple. Yeah.
Yeah, like I just meant for like a party purpose, you like could not, it wouldn't be like a platter situation. You couldn't do like a cheese board with apple. Like, you know what I mean? You couldn't do an apple board per se. You would have to keep the apples whole, like as is.
Okay. Well, then I'll cut into an apple and then that's like a big event. I'm like, all right, guys. Now we're doing the ambrosias. And then I go around with all the slices and we all have different cheeses and various accoutrement. Yeah, I fucking said accoutrement, guys. That's not illegal yet. That would be fun. This would be fun. I think I think I could be apple guy. I like this personality for me. What do you think?
If you want to pick one, then yeah, apple guy's a good one.
I like apples. I think they did good with that. Some people say in the Adam and the Eve there that it's a fig. What do you think? But some people think I think it's an apple. I feel like apple is more on point.
Like people are debating what the actual fruit was, like biblically.
Right, because the story is the snake up there was like, try this fig. It's like, fig? I'm sorry? What did you say? He's like, fig. What? Like, it just sounds wrong.
Like, it sounds weird.
Like, obviously it wasn't a banana. That's ridiculous.
Yes.
Try this banana. No.
Yeah, no, absolutely
I'm
not.
No, snake. I'm not slowly eating the banana in front of you. You think I haven't heard this before? I might be the second person alive, but I'm not doing that shit.
He's just rattling his tail.
Yeah.
Like, try it. Take a bite.
Yeah, it was a rattler. So anyway, I think the Honeycrisp apple, I think this is the apple. And I don't know how long it's been out, but I only found out about it recently. And that's how I treat the world. For me, it's relevant and topical if I learned about it. It's very self-centered existence I have. The Honeycrisp apple, it's the best apple ever. Lassen's, which is an insane store that closes on Sundays and it pisses me off every week, has other apples. So I went in and I tried the Ambrosia apple. Are you familiar?
I'm unfamiliar.
You're unfamiliar. One of our dear listeners actually said on fucking Discord that this was better than a Honeycrisp apple. And I was like, obviously that's false, but I will indulge your delusions.
Fighting words.
She hadn't even tried a Honeycrisp too. So I was like, yeah.
Fighting inexperienced
Exactly.
words.
Of course you haven't. So I got this Ambrosia apple. And let me say, I have some compliments for the Ambrosia apple. It is a big apple. Big apple.
Okay. Lots of fiber.
If you've ever said, I want to have two apples that are okay, Ambrosia apple, great choice.
You know what? Sometimes it is nice to eat a food that you just palm.
Yeah,
Like
no,
a giant
it's a
apple.
clean palm and like a nice smooth ball.
Yes.
Maybe if you're craving to hold a big smooth ball, I also recommend the Ambrosia apple.
I do sometimes like a one-handed food. It makes me feel like a construction worker. Like who's only wearing their construction vest. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know, you lost me there. Why does a construction worker just holding a big fruit?
Not necessarily fruit. I just mean a
Yeah.
one-handed food.
One, like a sandwich, and then they're like standing on a beam.
Yeah, exactly.
Catcalling.
It's really
That's
funny
what
to
you
me.
want to be.
I don't want to be it, but it's
Yeah.
funny to experience that for a moment.
What's your take on catcalling?
I don't like it. Because honestly, it happens to me a lot.
Take us through that.
These days, I usually respond to it. Depends on how long the car lingers. But I usually...
The car? Oh, I didn't even picture this.
Yeah, it's
Having a
drive-by
vehicle.
catcalling.
Oh, so
Drive-by
they're
is like-
lowering their window.
Yeah, sometimes men have just screamed at me. Like, ow! Like, ow! Like,
I'm so afraid. What?
I'm horrified. A monster. No, but
Applegate sausage. What the fuck? There's
I
no,
wish-
is that?
I wish someone yelled Applegate sausage at me from a car.
would be
That'd be
magical.
funny. I'd laugh.
So people yell at you. Men yell shit at you.
Yeah, like the kissing sounds are particularly gross.
Like that?
Yeah.
I guess
Hey,
it would be
mommy,
kind of loud.
like,
Yeah, hey,
the
mommy.
kissing
That's a
sounds,
classic.
just yelling like ow, like it's like CSI Miami. Like I don't
If they timed it though, you would laugh, right? Like if they
Yes.
really hit it perfect.
and he put like his like David Caruso
yeah.
glasses up.
fucking
like,
crash into a light pole.
that'd be really great. No,
Everybody in the vehicle dies.
but I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like. Well, I
aggressive.
also don't do great with surprise noise anyway. Like surprise loud noise. Yeah, like I don't do
Sorry,
great.
I had to try it.
Well, no. See, the nice thing, even though this is not a visual medium,
Yeah.
you cued me in with your
You could
eyes that
see
you were going to
me.
do something
I
silly.
made intense eye contact. Surprise noise. So like if somebody snuck up behind you and went like boo, you would not be a fan of that.
I wouldn't love it. No,
Yeah.
certainly not.
What about a little tiny whisper though?
That would just give me like the heebie-jeebies. I feel like.
Yeah. But it's not a general issue with surprises. Am I hearing this right?
Yeah, no, just like when I don't know, someone like the
Yeah.
guy working on the ATM at work, like dropped a metal panel and it like had a clattering sound on
Nobody
the
likes
floor.
that.
Yeah,
though.
exactly.
Yeah, that's too loud.
I know, but do you jump up in the air and like you have to take a second?
I don't know about taking a 2nd I'd be like a fucking ATM guy. So the ATM's open from what time to what time? Because I see a heist potential.
Not with our security. Shouts out to Geo.
There we go. So the Ambrosia apple, it also has a perishness. And yeah, I'm reviewing apples now. I think this is important because look, here's the thing. Every fucking product, everyone's trying to sell you a product, but I think apples are healthy. Apples.
Apples.
I think they're
I'm
healthy.
sorry. I couldn't let it go.
I think they're healthy, they're good for you, and I think we should talk about it. And I still am standing by Honeycrisp. Ambrosia, go home.
Yeah, no, honestly, start advertising the apples like the candy companies advertise candy.
What do they do?
There was one product line of, I think it was baby carrots, but they were packaging
hate
them.
carrots.
But hear me out.
I'm hearing.
Hear me out. They were packaging them in a fun way, and they were putting it at eye level with kids to the same way that you see a lot of candy in the
I like
candy level
that.
at the same eye level
Yeah,
as
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
So it's in the same engaging kind of packaging,
Yeah.
and it's where they're looking at it. So that's what they're going to reach for and be like,
funny
Mom, can we add this to the cart, please?
Yeah.
Like screaming down the aisles, being like, please, So I'd say advertise fruits and veggies like we do candy.
I do endorse apples generally, specifically the Honeycrisp. Let me talk about the Sweet Tango apple. First of all, already annoyed at the name. Let me tell you how they spell this piece of shit. Sweet A-N-G-O. So it's really Sweetango.
I'd hate that.
What are you doing?
I hate that.
What are you doing?
You don't need.
Give it 2
don't
words.
need- yeah, it needs
Are
2
you
words.
a Gen Z naming their child? Can you not? Can you not? Did I cross the line there?
No, is that what they're doing?
Well, they always, it's always like, oh, this is my kid, River, or whatever. They always have a fight. I guess that's Weezer, but whatever.
Yeah, but also, like, didn't Michael Jackson name his kid Blanket?
Yeah, no, bad
it's
names
since time
transcend.
immemorial.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of bad names out
Gwyneth
there.
Paltrow, Apple. She kind of started it, didn't she?
I kind of like the name Apple. Are you listening to what we're saying? I kind of like that.
Are you going to name your daughter Apple?
No, but I would date an Apple.
You date an Apple?
My first question to
You
her.
wouldn't date a Sweet Tango, though.
No, I would not. Well, that's what this is interesting. I would have a one night stand with Sweet Tango because it is a beautiful apple and it's very tight. It has very tight skin and it looks great. And you're like, baby, it's so good. You look so good and you're so excited to be out with her. And then, you finally take a bite and it's got that. It's a little mealy and it just really, you know what it's not? Crisp.
It's not crisp.
It's not crisp. Anyway, speaking of annoying sounds, besides my voice, Lils, you were telling me that you've got these kooky neighbors that they react to every little tiny sound in your apartment.
Yeah, they truthfully, when we first moved in, we moved our couch a little bit to clean behind it, and I heard
normal.
Yeah, a really
At what
normal
time?
thing
What
to
time
do.
was this?
This was at 11:30 a.m.
In the daytime.
In the daytime, I try to be conscientious as a upstairs neighbor.
Sure,
you know what I mean.
You gotta be.
Like you have to
You've
be.
gotta be.
You just gotta. I walk around in socks, like or a slipper situation.
I'm not doing that for you.
Well, I am.
Come up here and say to
That's
my
me.
face. If you come up here and say to my face, I can tell you're barefoot, then fine. But
Well, that's the thing. They don't have a good barometer for which sounds are which sounds, because as we were moving that couch, I got a call from my landlord later, and it's like, yeah, they were wondering like if you could like roller skate outside and not roller skate in your apartment.
What?
And I was like, I don't own roller skates. I then bought some, but I didn't use them inside.
Got him now.
And what else? They were saying that.
You said you fell. You tripped.
Yeah, I tripped in my apartment.
And the landlord called. So that means they had to call the landlord.
Yes.
To narc on you for falling.
Yes, I fell, and they called the landlord and it's asked if they could ask the upstairs neighbor to stop dropping their weights when they're lifting weight.
Ridiculous.
And the wildest part about all this is I've had a conversation with this woman, and I'm like, here's my phone number. When the sound's happening.
You fucking coward.
Yeah, when the sound's happening, text me. Even if I'm not home, text me, because you're always talking about these phantom noises when I'm not home and my partner's home, and I'm like, what are we doing? And he's like, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So you're texting. But you refuse to communicate with me when these noises are happening, so I can't contextualize them and figure out a problem to solve for you.
There is no problem.
Exactly. There's no problem.
Hard.
The only problem is she's a 60-something-year-old woman living with her elderly mother and her adult daughter. It's Grey Gardens. Like, that's the problem.
It's the sound of their existence that haunts them.
It truly.
You know?
I don't know. I've told her, I'm like, lady, like this is where we live. We pay the same level of rent.
Right.
The difference between you and me is I'm buying a house. I'm getting out of here. I'm sorry this is your whole life. Not anytime soon.
Okay, I was
but
like,
it's in my 5-year plan.
Can I get in on that or what? 'Cause I don't have a house.
It's in my 5 to 7 year plan.
Well, I think that's great. And yeah, fuck your neighbors. They sound really annoying. Speaking of neighbors that are on the older side, the wiser side, got a little Dora update. I popped out here into my hallway, and she was very eager to catch me. Mm-hmm. I was excited too because Lily was here, so I was like, "Oh my god, you can meet Dora!"
I really wanted to hear
knows her.
A classic Dora story from the source.
I know, right? And so, but I saw her and I was like, "Hi," and she's like, She's like, "I need you to help me. I need you," and I was like, "I know you do. This is what you say every time, girl." And she was like, "This lady came into my apartment. She was 70 years old and she tried to kill me."
Was it herself?
No, she's 85.
She saw herself in the mirror like,
Yeah, she was 86 for a while, but now she's gone to 85. But yeah, she said this lady tried to kill her, which is, I believe, I need to create a list, but is at least the 4th person to try to kill her. And I'm like, why do so many people want you dead? It's really a lot of people.
Maybe Dora has a past.
I mean, that's it. I'm like, are you the ex-prime minister of Japan? I don't understand.
It's just so funny. I'm thinking in my head, it's like we think something that's just like the ramblings of an 86-year-old woman, but in reality, she was the most seasoned serial killer in the world, and people are looking for their revenge. It's like a Western.
The way she says it, I'm like,
Dora's
clearly that's what's happening. So, but then I was like, then I tried to be kind of cheeky. I was like, yeah, we're just gonna go outside and talk for a second. We're gonna actually smoke a cigarette. We don't endorse smoking cigarettes, guys. And then she was like, what? And I was like, we're gonna go smoke a cigarette. We're being bad. And she was like, oh, okay, I'll wait for you. And then I was like,
and she forgot.
And then she forgot. So anyway, we wanted to talk a little bit, guys. Please rate, review, subscribe, join us on Patreon. By the way, shout out to our new patrons, Gabriela, Briaja, Adelaida. I'm so sorry for pronouncing your names wrong. Fiona, Alexa, welcome to the pod. We really love to have you. And a very special shout out to Maya, who is a gem and a half. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for the support. We very much appreciate. So somebody sent this Twitter thread And I thought we should cover it because it's basically like stuff we've talked about a million times. But I guess the high level here is basically this guy posted some screen caps on Twitter of like he had sold these goods. He gave his lease to an NYU student. We'll call him Tristan. And Tristan is a white guy, which will be relevant later. I'm not just saying that. And yeah, so he wanted, this is a class. Do you ever do this, Lily, where you like, he wanted to sell all his shit because he had like glasses and an air conditioner and bowls.
Sometimes it's more troublesome to take it with you.
Exactly, right?
Sometimes when you're moving, it's easier to get rid of it, sell it for a teeny amount for which
he's selling it for a tiny percentage, okay? So this is like, guys, air conditioner, TV mount, TV, toaster, like this added up. I think
absolutely
this is easily 500, maybe even $1,000 of stuff. He gives it to the two roommates. He says $250. You know, these boys don't own any forks or some shit. You know, like this is their only forks.
They have one fork apiece.
He's like, this is nice cutlery. Like, please. Offers it to them for $250 to save the haggle. And Tristan, okay, so this is responding via iMessage, is what he's posting on Twitter, says, John, the other roommate, already sent $150, so I'll send over $100 then. And he's getting over a dozen things for this. It's a great deal. But guess what? Then Tristan did not send the money. So OP then follows up and is like, hey, like, just wondering when you're going to send the money because I like left all the stuff there. Tristan hits him with an article about gaslighting from Psychology Today.
What a move.
What a move.
What a move.
So,
Tristan's coming in hot.
Tristan's coming in hot and then goes in even hotter. He's sending all these links and then eventually sends this message, which is just one of the most unhinged things I've ever read. Hey, Jack, I was reflecting on our conversation with some colleagues. First of all, already, shut the fuck up.
No, it's the people you met during freshman welcome week.
Yeah, right. You are 20 years old, if that, please. Also, who says colleagues? I think you could say colleagues if you're a doctor. Enough with colleagues.
Yeah, there's no
Your
way.
fellow fucking marketers, enough.
You can't buy a beer. You can't say colleagues.
Yeah, exactly. I was reflecting on our conversation with some colleagues and wanted to share some additional thoughts. I know you don't know much about me, but I'm a mediator who works in racial healing spaces. So conflict is no stranger to me. What is the relevance of that? I'm not sure if how you handled our conflict is representative for how you typically handle conflict, but if it is, I have a few resources I'd like to share. It's important to call out harmful language and tactics when you see it. It's a sincere olive branch, this is, and I think with some practice you can transform so you don't make others feel like how I did, bullied, hurt, anxious, gaslit, etc. 4 emotions and an etc. So yes, let me know if you're interested because I think it could be really beneficial for you and especially the folks you'll have conflict with. Jack responds, gaslighting is a real form of psychological abuse and is not the same thing as me asking you to hold up your end of an agreement we made. Per our agreement, you have my things, so per our agreement, I need to be paid. Tristan then sends him a link. Tristan loves to send these fucking links saying this is a legal definition of an official agreement.
Don't you hate when people hit you with like, let's look up the dictionary definition of that when you're like trying to, not in defining a word.
Yeah.
But in the sense of you're making an argument, they're not seeing like,
right.
They're not seeing what you're actually talking about. So they try to hit you with something clerical in order to bolster their own argument. Like, please.
It's clerical and it's also like often stupid because I'm like,
yes,
there's sometimes I'm not talking about what the dictionary says. I'm talking about what people mean when they say what I talk about when I talk about running. You know what I'm talking about? Some of you do.
Precisely.
I've been meaning to read it, but I always like the title of that book. But yeah, 100%. I'm totally with you. And like, what is meant to be achieved here? He agreed. It was a plain agreement. There was nothing complicated. So Tristan then ends, and this is honestly where I like kind of got freaked out. Tristan then says they don't have the official agreement, and eventually writes, he concedes and says, I don't need to pay you anything, but like I said, I will pay you. And if I'm being honest, I'm solely doing it so that my roommate and I don't receive further harassment. This is the shit that makes me sick.
Yes, because he's not being harassed. He is merely, well, did they draw out an official contract? No, but they do have in form of writing via text that he would be paying him that portion, like the $100,
yes.
$120.
Yes.
For the collected stuff.
Yeah.
And OP was not harassing him. OP was merely going, hey, you owe me some money for this, like the goods that I have provided.
Exactly.
When am I to be receiving that? And harassment is not that whatsoever.
It's not that. And that's a character attack. And that's really what Tristan's doing. So the first thing he's doing, I was thinking about what Tristan is actually the gaslighter. Yeah, I said it. First thing is just making it complicated, right? It's as simple as what you just said. Just making it, I feel like this is a classic manipulator tactic. All of a sudden, this simple thing, this is a simple transaction. We've all done this. Who hasn't had a great fire sale? I have. Shout out to my boy Corey. He spent $40 on a weed scale and a Nintendo DS. I mean, that is an unbelievable deal.
It is.
Everything must go. I know, you should have been there.
Were you sleep deprived?
2012. I know, I was, yeah, I was sleep deprived. We'll not get into that. But anyway, so it's the great fire sale when you got to move in college. But yeah, it's very complicated. And, you know, then Tristan throws in the gaslighting, which, and I think, and I talked to my dad about this too. Like, you don't need to get all heavy with it. If you're having a conflict with someone, you don't bring up all the psychology buzzwords or the personality disorders or the gaslighting. Just don't touch that shit. Even if they are doing it, it's not as if someone who's gaslighting you is going to get the article that says this is what gaslighting is, going to be like, oh my God, you're right.
It like really like hit a light bulb for me. And I decided, comes to the Psychology Today, you know, I just followed their links, found a narcissist specific therapist.
I have narcissistic personality disorder. You're right. Thank you for sending the link.
Thank you. It's changed my whole life.
It's over now. Your nightmare is over.
I'm going to become a therapist. I'm going back to school.
Like, yeah. Like this happened 0 times. Tristan also is like, oh, I am a conflict mediator who works in racial healing spaces, which this also feels like kind of creating like little landmines. It's like, oh, so now you're disagreeing with me. I'm an authority.
I'm an authority on this situation. I know what I'm talking about. I have training. This is what I do for a living.
And the white supremacy thing, right? So he's kind of saying like, you're a white supremacist and I work in racial healing spaces. It's like you're trying to create this like little like blank, you know, so he's on like higher ground.
Yes.
But
it's like sending an email when you want to get a reservation. So you create an email and be your own assistant.
Have you actually done that?
No, but I've heard about it on a podcast.
You got to do it. You got to do it now. You can't just say it. You could do that for me. That could be fun.
I'm not going to be your assistant.
That's very fair. So rejected. So, but yeah, no, the clincher here for me is the end because it's a couple of things. It's that he, first of all, basically does agree. Like, it's like he does know. This is what's shocking to me. Tristan does know that he's wrong. And he also knows that it's a good deal, presumably. I mean, how could he not? So he agrees to pay him. But what freaks me out is then he has to still win this altercation. And if I'm being honest, so then it's also like, no, you're being the opposite of honest. I'm solely doing it so that my roommate and I don't receive further harassment, which just like he wants to keep his moral high ground the whole time and is again just ending on a nasty character attack.
Refusing to take any form of accountability. It's that.
Non-apology, zero responsibility on the side.
Just refusal.
What a piece of shit.
Just like buying his own burial plot on this hill of, I don't actually owe you money.
But there was one other little tiny thing I did notice though, because I am trying to see OP. I'm trying to see if there's anything to ding OP on. And I seem to remember that there was some comment. OP wrote this. This does make me ding him slightly. So John, the guy who gave him the lease, wrote this prior. So he wrote that thing about gaslighting as a form of real psychological abuse. But he also wrote, you are currently in possession of my air conditioner, TV, and dining room table, which you agreed to pay for. To date, you have not paid for the items, nor have you agreed to cover the cost of a rental vehicle that would be necessary for the items to be returned to me.
Ooh, was that in the original agreement?
That is I have to land. We got to land a punch on John.
A ding and a ding. Yeah.
That's a ding because like that does seem like someone who is being a little aggressive.
That seems to me, do you know where that hits me? That hits me as a man who does not just want to get his money back. It's like, oh, if you're going to be like this, I'll play your game. To me, it's a little bit game playing.
It's giving manipulation a little bit, because it's like it is creating kind of pressure to be like, well, these are the two options. You're paying me for the goods or you're covering the cost of a rental vehicle. And it's like, well, no, that's not how that works.
No.
He can refuse to pay for the goods, and then whatever bind you're in is your bind.
Yes.
It's not his problem.
No, it's not. And the items are at his apartment. He took your lease. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Like, you know, he should let you in if he's a decent person. But like, well, that would have been a nice story to bag on Tristan the whole time. But there might be some complexity there, people. And that's just the kind of podcast this is.
But Tristan is annoying.
Tristan is annoying, no doubt. Don't send articles.
I wouldn't be friends with Tristan.
Enough with the people sending long content. Can we cut it down? Can we create a culture of cutting it down a little bit?
A little bit. Don't text paragraphs.
Is that a personal attack?
No.
Don't text a paragraph, or you're doing multiple paragraphs at once. Okay, one paragraph limit.
No, I'm talking about if you're sending, let's say if it's formatted in iMessage, like if it extends like the whole screen.
Don't
send that.
Yeah, I agree. Don't send that.
Write it down in a notes app to get all your feelings out.
Yes.
Then get a glass of water.
Yeah.
And then maybe call the person on the phone.
I'm totally with this.
That's more what I meant by don't text paragraphs.
No, and that's what we talked about with the guy writing the letters and all that stuff. Like long correspondence, I don't think it's a good move. I just feel like it doesn't really work in anyone's favor.
No, it really doesn't.
Well, guys, please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon. And yes, I am getting word from our pyramid. We have a pyramid now, like Bass Pro Shops. The AITA pod pyramid, that we do have one heck of an app for you today. Our second story of the day, AITA for leaving my date at a bar. But first, folks, it's AITA for including my stepdaughter's hobby expenses in her allowance. My husband, Frank, 52, has two daughters from his first marriage, Alice, 11, and Brenda, 13. My husband divorced his first wife, Candy. Okay, I feel like OP is really already kind of building.
She hates his ex. She hates the mother of these children.
This is a loaded name to give someone, I feel. His first wife, Candy, when the kids were 3 and 5. I, 32F, met Frank after his divorce through a mutual friend a few months after his divorce. They were 4 and 6, and I've been in their lives ever since. Frank and Candy split custody 50-50, and she and I are cordial, and the three of us want what's best for the kiddos, including individual group therapy. We coordinate pickups and drop-offs at school. We sit next to each other at kids' events. Brenda has a passion for baking. She also will try to mix ingredients without recipes just to see what will happen. Frank and I have encouraged this, as she finds the research and process of baking to be relaxing. She's also responsible for cleaning up the kitchen after she bakes, an expectation she believes is also fair. We have a dishwasher and she knows how to load it and use it. We also brought her own mixing bowls and baking utensils, but she has free use of all kitchen appliances, obviously. However, she doesn't eat or want to really share her creations. Jesus, that's a little brutal. She just likes the process and then we'll toss it.
That's wild.
What?
That's wild that you allow that behavior.
That's a little crazy.
I don't want to start my commentary until we finish reading, but like that hit me like. So we're encouraging that.
To trash it? She will go through more than a pound of flour and 8 sticks of butter in a week.
A pound is like your standard bag that you see.
Yeah, I
right?
think so. I think so. I mean, I don't know. Alice likes to play online video games and will ask for money to buy in-game money to play with her friends. There are two kinds of people. There are Alice's and there are Brenda's.
Alice is playing Bethesda games.
Yeah, right? and cryptocurrency, let's face it, it's basically Alice. Pretty much everyone's accounted for. With growing food costs and to teach them the value of $1, Frank told both kids he was increasing their monthly allowance from $25 a month to $75. Okay, inflation isn't that high, Frank. Good Lord, triple.
I love Frank that he's just like, guys, money's bad. Here's more of it. Like, yeah, I love Frank. Yeah. Go him.
Yeah, here's the value of $1. Here's so much more for you to waste. But with a stipulation that they both pay for their own hobbies, meaning any baking Brenda wanted to do, she can buy her supplies. And any in-game money Alice wanted to buy, she can use for her allowance for in-game money or whatever. Since increasing their allowance, they are more hesitant to add money to their hobbies. Brenda is still baking several times a month, and Alice is still getting in-game money, but significantly less. Brenda has brought up frequently that she feels it's mean that she has to save her money, about $20 worth, to pay for flour and dairy products when we should just buy it for her. We have explained our reasoning several times. Candy recently approached Frank and I, demanding to know why we're not being supportive of Brenda's hobby. We explained the reasoning behind it, and she insists we should just pay for it to be supportive. We've argued that this is supportive and also a teaching tool to learn that things cost money and how to save for things you want, which both kids have demonstrated by saving and minimizing their purchases. Candy also doesn't allow Brenda to bake at her home because she, quote, doesn't have time to deal with it, even though she is capable of cleaning up with minor supervision. AITA.
I think you always should teach your kids the value of money.
Seems like a pretty key thing.
Because I've told you how at my school, I went to school with a lot of like rich people. Well, I mean, their parents are rich because these are 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
And one time, one who was like trust fund level rich, like she admitted, she's like, I don't know the value of a dollar. Like I don't know. Money doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know how
much shit costs. Like
she said that out loud.
Wow.
She said that out loud one time, completely oblivious to the fact that it's a wild thing to admit. It interests me off the bat that Candy, she says you're discouraging her habit. You need to pay for it. Is Candy paying for it too? Or are these baking things just happening at the home, like at stepmom's house?
Yeah, I'm confused about that because I was under the impression that Brenda would clean up her little baking. I thought it was kind of a self-contained process. That's kind of how they sold it. She's going to make her own shit and clean it up. She has her own bowls, her own tools.
But she doesn't want to be the payroll for those experiments. But
Candy says she doesn't have time. So I'm like, why is this coming to time on Candy's side?
Oh, okay. I missed that part. Yeah. Why? It doesn't have to do with time. Is it more of like she feels like the need to be present while Brenda is baking?
It sounds like Candy is kind of lazy because OP says even though she's capable of cleaning up with minor supervision, which is that's the system.
Yeah, truly. Like, here's the Windex. Go.
Yeah.
There's the paper towels. Windex. There's this. I don't know.
Windex to clean.
Well, Windex has ammonia in it. Yeah, Windex has ammonia in it, and sometimes to degrease.
Really? You can use Windex on a plate?
No, not on a plate. I'm talking about a counter, a surface, like not a food, like, not a plate. I wash my dishes.
Okay, no, I don't. Soap. I have a lot of problems with water stains, and I don't want to get into it. Don't look at your glass too closely. So, it's sanitary. Water. I swear.
It's the water in LA.
It's the water in LA. Those aren't my stains. So, yeah, I mean, I guess where I got stuck here is, I guess my first question is baking is very mathematical. This is something that I've been told.
It's science. Cooking is art. Like baking is science. You need to have really accurate measurements. Otherwise, like it could get the textures thrown off. It won't rise the same way. It's all very precise.
And yet every time I meet a scientist and go, can I have some cookies? They're like, what are you talking about?
Get out of the lab.
What's the fucking problem? Dad jokes for 200, Alex. And I guess my thought, what's the new person's name?
I don't know. He was a guy who won. My parents are just big Jeopardy old people. So
I'm feeling like a boomer yet again. Shout out to my Fortnite squad. Okay. Just trying to overcompensate for it. I hate emojis. No. All right. First of all, she's going through a pound of flour and 8 sticks of butter a week. It does seem a little bit wanton here. Baking scales. You could make a single cupcake. It's perfectly possible, right?
I mean, you could make a singular cupcake. Like, I think she uses the word experiments.
Yeah.
She uses the word experiments. And so this, to me, I'm thinking cakes. That's what I envision. I'm thinking larger scale cakes.
Little cakes. And where are the complaints coming? Well, they're coming from Candy. We know that. And Brenda has brought up frequently that she feels it's mean that she has to save her money, about $20 worth, to pay for flour and dairy products when we should just buy it for her. But by that account, their budget went from 25 to 75. So she's still coming out on top. I mean, even with inflation.
Yeah, exactly. She's getting access to more money. I don't know what she was spending her previous $25 a month on. It's $25, so I can't imagine it's very substantial. You know what I mean? I don't imagine adding another 20 for her baking supplies, because if that's the number that was provided, it would be it would be like 20, 25 bucks for baking supplies. You're still now at 50 with another 25 for the whole month.
That's plenty. Like,
you're getting triple. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't understand. Top comment, Aaron Nero writes, NTA. I disagree with Candy and your friends. Frank increased their allowance while stipulating they had to pay for their hobbies. Great. Now Brenda understands how to be better with money. Baking's expensive and the costs make even less sense if you aren't going to eat or share the stuff you're baking. Also, is an allowance not money that comes from the parents? Frank is still effectively paying for Brenda's hobby while also teaching her how to spend money wisely. Good for you.
Like, I never got an allowance as a kid. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like an allowance is like a privilege. You know what I'm saying? Walking around money is a privilege. I don't think it's necessarily like, you're born, you're a child, here's some money. Like, it can't necessarily, you know what I'm saying? It's not a necessary given. It's like a good thing. You should teach your kids the value of money. Right. And having them utilize it themselves is a good way to do that. But I get why a child would go, that's mean, because they're feeling like they're getting less. They need to, I feel like maybe they did, and I'm just not inferring that from this. They need to actually like explain the logistics to her. I think Brenda.
Well, they said they explained it several times to her.
And she's just still not getting
it. I think it is jarring because I think, you know, I like to say money is real. You know, to me, I'm so fortunate that to me money is just a tool, which is really what you want. I think it's not what some people want. I'm at a place where I don't worry about money. It's like, how much of this tool do I have to use the kind of shit that I want to do, you know, generally, right? Like, obviously I can't go stay in the Four Seasons in Hawaii, but, you know, who gives a fuck? It doesn't really matter. I just watch White Lotus. It's the same thing.
And it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Like I said it in passing one time, I'm like, I have my bills on auto pay, so I don't forget. And a bunch of my friends were like, what?
Oh my God. I'm so happy that we're on the same page here.
Take it. You're going to take it on the correct day.
You're going to go in and manually pay something. You know how much effort that takes?
Exactly.
I should be being paid if I have to manually pay. Fuck you.
Like, please, no, take it on the right day. I'm not going to fucking remember.
No, and people are always like, oh, what if they take too much? Go through your bank statement once every 3 months. Well, even if they get you, it's not like that. There's no statute of limitations. If you try to fuck with me, go ahead, charge me too much. See what happens.
We all big bank. We got the apps on our phone. Yeah. Look at it. Yeah. I know you're afraid to look at it, but you have to look at it sometimes.
Yeah. My mom doesn't use autopay. I think it's crazy.
I think it's crazy too.
There's no way to live your life.
Because all the friends who were like, oh, well, that's a privilege. I'm like, I guess I never thought about it from that way. Just because to me, like you just mentioned, it's a tool that makes my life easier. It makes my life. Yes.
Yeah. In my mid-20s, you know, money wasn't a tool. Money was like a resource I must obtain desperately now. Like it's a thing. I think they're creating that a little bit in Brenda. It feels scarce, right? $75 is a lot of money when you're like 10, but it's not infinite. It's not that much money.
No.
You know how much a fucking Xbox cost or whatever. I guess Brenda would be buying like maybe she wants a nice crushed ice machine, Pebble ice machine. That's $600. That's 10 months of allowance. Good luck, honey. With tax and a warranty, and you're going to want to get it because that's a mechanical good with water running through it. I mean, get the warranty, Brenda. But you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
she has it feels finite. Even if the budget is the same, she didn't have that sense before. So I feel like that she's probably picking up on that.
Yes, exactly. Whereas in the past, it could be, there wasn't a dollar amount on the baking supplies. So it was infinite baking supplies should anything happen. And now there's a $75 dollar amount. And since she does not know the value of a dollar because she is a child, she's like, what's that gonna buy? But how much could a banana cost, Michael? $10?
Exactly.
Like a butter is $50, Mom. How on earth could you make me supply my own baking goods?
Well, stop getting the raw milk-based goods. Top descending comment, YTA for trying to teach her the value of a dollar, but not for teaching her the value of food and food waste. If she doesn't want anyone eating it, then how does she even know she's getting better? How is she really advancing her skills? And by throwing it away directly after making it, she's learning that food is an infinite resource. The gall of that belief and that mindset is appalling. I'm not crystal clear on that. OP didn't really address the whole throwing away thing. I mean, that caught me off guard and struck me as bizarre as well. And also like kind of missing the mark of the point of baking and cooking, which I think is at least to some extent to bring people together, right? I mean,
it is definitely to bring people together. Did you see where she mentioned in the comments along the lines of because of the experimental nature of what's being made?
Yeah,
it's not appealing.
Oh, so it's shit.
I bet it's like she's using a lot of food coloring. I bet it's like just like weird shapes, weird colors, like things like that. And so that's why it's not, because a few people recommended like, why doesn't she sell them? Why doesn't she sell them at her school? And OP was like, because it looks disgusting.
I look, I'm actually going to push back on that comment. I think I have that in my head, and it actually, I think, has driven me to be a chronic overeater for a lot of my life. Like this idea that food should never be wasted. Obviously, I'm not for wasting food, but I think this is a very much like a bizarre like remnant of the past. We grow enough food. Food actually, it's not infinite, but the problems with food are not having to do with the fact that we can't grow enough. It has more to do with like distribution. So it's not like you fucking, throwing away a carrot that you didn't get to is being taken from someone's mouth, like.
Yes. And I mean, talk about capitalism, because it's not our food waste that is really impacting the planet on an environmental standpoint. No. It's the waste of
the top
the
100 companies but make up 80% of the pollution.
Exactly. So
nightmare. Yeah.
But if they make us feel bad about it, they can sell us more stuff about it to fix it.
Yeah, that's true. Tupperware, notorious borderline pyramid scheme.
Yep.
But yeah, I think I understand it. And like, obviously like I think there's also cultural precedence here. When we had the Great Depression, like shit has gone down in this country where food hasn't always been abundant. But in general, I'm just not really on board with that. We do live in a relatively first world-ish country. It's certainly like a lot of the first world countries.
Yes.
And
I'm not into wasting food, but I also don't put the biggest like vilification stamp.
There's so many things that are wasteful. Many people get a new phone every year. We throw out old computers,
clothing,
old devices,
fast fashion,
clothing. I mean, there's myriad ways. For some reason, I think food feels worse. Like for me, it does, right? Like I'll throw away whatever fucking old electronic or something. But like food, I'm like, oh, eat it. Force yourself to eat it.
Yeah.
I think that's not made of anything substantial morally.
No, it's not. You know what? I wonder if that commenter, do you compost? That's my question.
Yeah, do you even compost, bro?
You got the worms under your sink?
I mean, like, I don't think there's anything wrong on a limited scale and with some level of awareness, letting your daughter create shitty little, I mean, that's part of cooking as well. You gotta, what's the phrase? You gotta break a couple eggs to make an omelet?
Yes.
There we go.
And you gotta let kids be kids. You know what I mean?
You gotta let kids be kids.
They are gonna, that's how they learn.
Yes. Here's another thing. Like, as someone who does creative stuff, sometimes I buy like hardware and gear and microphones. And yeah, some of it's unnecessary, but like some of it is necessary. And some of it is what I end up using. And, I could be more responsible about it, but like that's part of my like process. Musicians buy various guitars and then they find the one they love or whatever. So like, I think getting too much into that waste mindset can be toxic, but I think pointing it out is good. Pointing out that food should be shared, I think is key. Let her waste some food. Some.
Yeah.
I don't want to ding on that.
I wanted to in the beginning, but I don't really want to now. I've come around.
AITA for including my stepdaughter's hobby expenses in her allowance. I really don't see much of a case here. I think Candy is annoyed because Brenda is complaining. That's really my best guess on Candy. It sounds like Candy doesn't even want to deal with Brenda's cooking at all.
Candy has to be on mom duty right now, and she doesn't want to be.
Right?
That's my take.
OP might be picture painting with a name like Candy. We never know. Nonetheless, I think we're on the same exact page here. We're saying I guess we're saying it's a no assholes here.
Yeah, no assholes here.
Would be the asshole, yeah.
I don't want to call Brenda an asshole. No way.
No. And sweet, what's the other one named? The two genders Alice? Here. Alice. That's it. It's either in-game money or wonton baking goods with 17 different colors. Oh, sweet, sweet Alice. Guys, please rate, review, and subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. Over 130 bonus episodes. Actually, Lily and I we got deep in there on our last one. I mean, Lily talked about the fact that she was in a psych ward.
Yeah, I mean, I have a BFA in acting, so I'm used to routinely having to like slice myself open and reveal my yucky insides.
I heard us have a BFA in acting, so
I lied. No, I'm just kidding. No, I had to like.
I have a BFA in acting, so didn't you know already?
For 4 years, people were just like, be vulnerable. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You have to be okay.
Interesting. Love it. But yeah, check it out, guys. Really good stuff. Discord. And I got to bring back the happy hour. I've somebody get on me about that. We'll do another happy hour, folks. Much love to all y'all. Here we go. AITA for leaving my date at a bar. I went on a date with a girl Sunday. Mandy, that's the name of the girl on the day, respectively. I've met her several times through my friend's girlfriend. I know she liked football because she's been to my friend's house for games several times. So I asked her to come with me to a bar and watch the game. We got there and Mandy said that her friend was there sitting at a table with some other people. She went and said hi. We sat at the bar and ate. Then she asked if it was cool if we went and sat by them. I didn't really want to, but agreed. We went over there and she introduced me. That was basically it. From then on, I felt like a third wheel. I tried to talk about football with some of the other people, but they didn't watch sports. I tried starting a conversation about some other stuff with one of the guys and it didn't seem like it was going anywhere. So I sat and watched the game while Mandy talked to her friends. Time passed and the game was almost over. So I told Mandy I was probably going to head out after. She said, "Oh, come on. When we're drunk, then we'll go." Then her friends started buying rounds of shots for each other. Not me, understandable. They don't
on a Sunday.
Aggressive. I told Mandy I was going to go because I worked in the morning. She looked at her beer and then her friends and said, "Oh, well, I didn't finish my drink yet." I said, "Well, I'm leaving. I can give you a ride home if you want." She said, "Okay, well, let me finish my drink." I said, "Okay," and sat down. Then she started screwing around with her friends again, not drinking her drink. I said, "Mandy, I'm leaving." She didn't acknowledge me or say bye, so I left. Yesterday, Sarah called and yelled at me about leaving Mandy stranded. She said when you drive someone somewhere, you take them home too, and that she didn't know I was such a jackass to leave a girl at a bar alone. Mandy didn't even know I left till she seen my jacket was gone. And apparently Mandy had to lift home and I should reimburse her. I explained my side and she said, "So what? She was having fun. You should have joined in instead of sitting around moping." I feel like I really tried to get into the conversation and join the group. It just wasn't working. I didn't feel like sitting there bored forever. Her friends were there and it's not like she was alone. AITA.
She did this by design. I truly think that. I think she either didn't know it was a date or she didn't think it was going to be fun. And I'm not saying this is justified cool behavior. This is my take of it. I truly believe she either didn't know it was a date and thought it could have been a friend hang pre-date, like a get to know each other before a date hang. Or she was like, "I don't know, guys. I didn't know how to say no to him. So I am holding a fake phone to my ear."
You think she was basically letting him off easy? Well, yeah, indirectly.
A little bit. But the thing is, then why the hell did like her friend go all like that? Because the way she was behaving, you wouldn't behave like that on a date that you wanted to see this guy again. I don't think you would.
Yeah. No.
From the get-go.
It was pretty cold. When she's like drinking and getting fucked up.
Well, is she getting fucked? Well, like, they're taking shots. Kind of
sounds like
that's fair.
They're taking a few drinks. I mean, they're at what, drink 3 or 4 just by this account.
I know, but neither of us drink, so we don't have a good. People like go out and they like drink.
I mean, I think she was, getting a little spicy with it, to some extent. Top comment, Corbin writes, "NTA, you told her a couple times that you were leaving and offered her a ride. If she wanted a ride, she needed to wrap it up and head out with you when you left. She didn't do that." I kind of feel like there were a few chances for her to go. It's very hard to ding OP on leaving her.
Oh yeah, no, he didn't abandon her. Like the title makes it seem like he did, but in reality, he verbally said, "I need to leave. I'm happy to give you a ride home." And it ended with him being ignored. But actually, I'm willing to buy that she got a little fucked up because OP mentioned that she just flat out did not acknowledge. He's like, "Mandy, I gotta go." And she was just like, "La la la, we're throwing axes and doing bar things."
That's the ding I can throw at OP where I'm kind of like, you kind of should have smelled what was cooking. She's obviously drinking.
Like OP needs to take a hint.
OP, well, yeah. Well, in other words, that final warning that she didn't acknowledge him, it's like, well, yeah, get acknowledged.
Yeah,
like
give
tap her on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, I'm leaving.
Goodbye."
But that's a pretty, low level ding. I mean, I think this person tried very hard. Top dissenting comment might really see eye to eye with your read here. Cat Feels Sad writes, "YTA, because you clearly said hang out. Are you not an adult that can be direct? Could you not say, hey, thought this was a date? You're an adult, use things called words to express feelings. If this had been an official date, I would gladly say that your date was the asshole, but you never specifically said this was a date." I think I just disagree with the verdict here.
Yeah.
I don't think, I'm not seeing that anyone did anything wrong. And I would say, I don't love the idea of being out with someone that you maybe asked out a little and then you're like, this is a date. It's like, okay, that's heavy, dude. Like, is that really a move? I don't really think that's going to work.
Yeah, I get that. Because the hangout with vague romantic intentions, because like, what is it here? I just want to reread like the top. He met her through a mutual friend. I knew she liked football because she was at a friend's house for football so we could watch a game. Yeah, you know what? That's vague. I like football. You like football. We could have a friendship grow between us.
Yeah,
that's vague. That's why I assumed she figured it was like a base hang.
Yeah, like let's feel it out.
Feel it out hang. Like we could either become friends or this could be a romantic interest. Who knows? Yeah,
sometimes you gotta just play it out and see where it goes.
And she felt the friend vibes within,
or maybe not. Maybe she was just with her friends and feeling their vibes,
Yeah.
Not necessarily even rejecting him, but just like she didn't crave that intensity. I mean, it could be the other thing. She's kind of nervous and she didn't want that so much, and her friends are there.
Like the one-on-one.
Yeah. I think that's kind of normal. I think some girls identify as cats. There's something kind of cat-like, it's like not so direct. Nonetheless, I don't really have any charges here. I think Mandy wanted to do what she wanted to do. It was never clear there was a date, so she didn't violate anything. She was being annoying. I would ding her for being annoying. She's drinking. She's not being direct, but what does she have to be direct about?
And she's not, it's annoying also that she's not sort of like doing more to try to welcome him into the group hang a little bit. He felt very isolated. That could be his personal take, but she wasn't really doing much to, hey, these are all my friends and I know you know no one and we're kind of having like a one-on-one hang situation.
Yeah.
If that were to like magically develop and I was in that situation, I would try to work the situation so he was like,
yeah, she was there with him.
Yeah, but he said he felt like an accessory, like a third wheel. Like he was just kind of there and he couldn't like talk to anybody. He was trying to
I'm agreeing with you that she was there with him. So there is kind of, to some extent, responsibility to like facilitate a little bit of something.
Yes.
If she's going to go, out
she was inducting them into the group. It was no longer just we're saying hi to my friends and then continuing.
Exactly.
It's like we are joining them.
I can go to a ding on that. A soft YTA. That's pretty rude. That's pretty rude. Yes. They did agree to hang. They agreed to hang and she wasn't really hanging. She did not fulfill her side of the deal. I don't feel like that's true of him. He offered repeatedly to take her home. She wanted to stay. Whatever, she can stay. I don't think he abandoned her.
No, he did not.
AITA for leaving my date at a bar. I actually think we agree surprisingly. Soft YTA soft NTA and she is.
Soft YTA for date, like OP NTA.
He's not the asshole and she softly is.
Yes, 100%.
Guys, please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here on AITA for being mildly annoyed at my girlfriend for using one of my eggs. I eat the same breakfast every single workday. 6 fried eggs and an orange.
It's Gaston. Gaston is here.
I don't even know what to say to that. Are you Michael Phelps' son? Yes, I know this is a lot of food for most people, but I weigh 300 pounds and need to be sure I don't get hungry before lunch. My girlfriend doesn't like eggs and never eats them, so it works out perfectly because each week when we go grocery shopping, I buy a 30-pack of eggs, which lasts exactly the week. I work Thursday I guess that's who the 30 packs are for. Cause I've always wondered to be like, that's kind of a weird number. Why wouldn't we go to 36? It's for this guy.
I thought Brenda would be getting the 30 packs of eggs for all her baking.
Right, yeah. I work Thursday to Monday every week. This past Sunday evening when I had 6 eggs left in the carton for Monday morning, I was in the shower and came out to discover that my girlfriend had used one of my eggs to make a cake. I wasn't really upset with her, but I was mildly annoyed because she knows full well that I was planning to eat it for breakfast the next day, and it was too late to go back out to get more eggs. I asked her to please let me know next time we're at the grocery store if she plans to need an egg that week so we can buy extra. She said I'm being ridiculous that it's just 1 egg and that she shouldn't have to plan everything ahead like that. Again, I want to emphasize that I'm not actually mad at her, just mildly annoyed, but she seems to think it's an overreaction. AITA.
OP, your farts must be horrific. Think of all the sulfur he's consuming.
Is that the deal? Because I've had some farting issues. I didn't know if that was the eggs.
Lots of sulfur in eggs. So there is, because eggs kind of also smell like farts a little bit.
Yeah, when they get rotten, right? Yeah.
When they get rotten, or like if you've ever you've made yourself like some scrambled eggs and you eat most of it, but then you like start working or start reading.
Leave them out.
There's the eggy, sulfury smell. Like it has a smell. Ding for that. No, I'm just kidding. 6 eggs is a lot, but I don't think that is really the content of here. It's if she knows that he's on his 6 egg a day beat, like that's what he's doing.
6 egg a work day.
That's
how we get to the even 30, because that confused me for a second.
30
6 times 5
a week, and an orange. 5 oranges.
5 oranges.
But she knows that this is his routine. They live together.
Exactly.
She watches it happen.
Exactly.
So for me, you got to communicate. Even if it's like, hey, like you can shoot him the text message. Can you grab I need to use an egg. Can you grab another pack on the way home?
Yeah.
Like from his work day.
Yeah.
Not like when he gets out of the shower, he mentioned too late to go get some more eggs. So she sees what's going on. She knows.
Right.
She knows he's locked into his routine. And I don't care what she thinks about the routine, because I don't even care what I think about the routine. She knows she's interrupting his egg routine. He's going to want 6 eggs tomorrow. It's his Friday.
I think the routine is freakish and unusual.
And crazy. It's bizarre. It's unhealthy. Like... I don't actually know that.
It could be healthy. I mean, they say that dietary cholesterol doesn't translate to body cholesterol, but when you're having 6 eggs every day, it's kind of like, okay.
I just feel like everything in moderation, even the things that are good for you in theory, like eggs are good for you. And 6 is a lot. I think they say 3 a day is kind of a max. Yeah, just 6 is a lot for doing that 5 times a week, in my opinion.
Are you trying to be Chicken Hitler? Then maybe this is the diet for you, but it seems like a lot of eggs. I'm very with it. I'm very with what you said. I think I did have the impulse to be like, well, it's just 1 egg and it's just 1/6 of your daily eggs. But to me, this wasn't about the eggs. It was about, this is my routine and this is what I purchase for my routine. And you have decided that your own needs are more important than my routine. And even though it is a relatively trivial interruption of a routine that we both agree is extremely flatulent and downright bizarre, and I don't want to look at it, but I think that's the sin here, is that she kind of crossed the boundary. It's like, yo, respect me and respect my shit.
And she's like, I'm sick of your eggy farts and I want it to stop. No, but yeah, it's mere communication. It's not even like the using of the egg. It's the not communicating that there's going to be a missing egg. And
she took it.
She took it.
It's not, to me, it's not just communication. It's the fact that she took it without asking.
Because you should also get more eggs. Like, you know what I mean? If you were going to take without asking, be like, hey, babe, here's a pack of like 12, because I know we're going to go grocery shopping during your weekend, and we'll get you another pack of 30, but I needed an egg, so I got you like a 6 or a dozen or whatever.
It could be anything. It could be cucumbers on the eyes as part of your nightly spa thing. Oh, babe, I wanted cucumbers and hummus. Well, it's like, it doesn't matter. We're not doing a rational calculation about how big of a deal it was. It's that you violated a boundary here.
Yes.
And it mattered. I think that's another thing too. He didn't have the eggs he wanted, and that's his routine.
And he didn't go nuclear about it.
No, he said he was like, mildly annoyed.
I'm annoyed. And she's like, you're making such a big deal out of the one, because she disrupted his routine.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. If she had caused there to be a temporary potential egg lapse, so maybe it's Tuesday and there's only 24 eggs left or whatever, I can't do the math right now, 18 eggs left, and she's like, I'm gonna make it up by Thursday, I will bring you more eggs so that Friday you will still have your 6 eggs.
Exactly.
Then I'd be like, okay, dude, what did she really do? Nothing bad has happened, but something bad did happen. He likes to have his 6 eggs a day, and he weighs 300 pounds, so he gotta eat a lot of eggs.
I guess
he thinks. I don't know.
His words, not ours.
Top comment, Enduro Matt, YTA, she used 1 egg. Your weight is an excuse to eat like that. No. I weigh 292 pounds. That's a ridiculous amount of eggs to eat. I probably, you're right, but it doesn't make someone an asshole to be wrong about their own little health thing.
Yeah, exactly.
They're allowed to be wrong.
It's their own thing. A lot of people were in the comments trying to armchair diagnose OP, and it's not even that's not even like the core of the conflict.
That's not the sin.
The core of the conflict is, like you said, she broke a boundary and then tried to minimize it too.
Exactly.
Which always feels worse. Like, it's bad enough when you're like,
shitty.
Hey, you did this thing, it made me feel this way, and then they're like, that's dumb that you feel that way.
Yeah.
He wants his eggs. Is it crazy? Sure, but he wants his eggs. Just let him have his 6 eggs.
Let him have his eggs. Top descending comment, Sanrio. So this went basically YTA on Reddit. Crazy. Sanrio Water Tribe. Unpopular opinion, NTA. Your nutrition and weight are irrelevant. Thank you. The disagreement is over your GF using something that you have an established routine for, and you can't be an asshole because you didn't act like an asshole. She should have checked with you first before disrupting your routine, regardless of how healthy or unhealthy it is. It's not her place or ours to police your health.
Yes.
Spot on. Wow. A good comment on Reddit. See, they're out there, folks.
It could have been anything. It could have been carrots.
Yeah, could have been fucking you like to create 11 red cupcakes every morning that taste like shit, but that's your routine. You got to respect your partner. You know, I think this is all like basic boundary stuff. AITA for being mildly annoyed at my girlfriend for using one of my eggs. I think we agree. It's NTA and she is.
Yes, 100%. You're not the asshole.
All right, guys. Well, that is the app. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks to Lily, and we'll see you guys next Monday morning. Bye.
Bye.